gentlemen, we will start the program shortly, and therefore may we have your cooperation to to turn off your microphone and turn on your camera during this session. Okay. Okay, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, selamat sejahtera bagi kita semua. A very warm welcome to our Director of Siamo CCEP, Ibu Vina Adriani, and salam, a very warm welcome to our Deputy Director of Siamo CCEP, Deputy Director for Program of Siamo CCEP, Bapak Itwuti, and a very warm welcome to our Deputy Director for Administration, Ibu Elis Rosdiawati, and a very warm welcome to our Head of Division and staff of Siamo CCEP. A very warm welcome to our speaker for today's meeting, Ms. Zani Liu, Assistant Professor from the Chinese University of Hong Kong. And a very warm welcome to all of the committees and all participants of this webinar on children and playing. Please kindly adjust your position and turn on your camera during the session, and make sure that your microphone is muted. My name is Tiara Delia. I will be the Master of Ceremony and the moderator of today's meeting. And we do live streaming via Siamo CCEP YouTube, and we seek your concern containing this method. Thank you. And then, ladies and gentlemen, entering to the first agenda, please stay seated for the national anthem of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya, followed by Siamo Color and Siamo Song.
place we can build a better world. Let us take a stand for our visions of hope, making future plans for the people to grow in a life filled with happiness and faith. Hear us, Savior, building the future is our legacy. We'll achieve our goals through partnership, creating opportunities. By working hand in hand, we can accomplish all our dreams. For a better quality of life is now within our reach. Let us take a stand for our visions of hope, making future plans for the people to grow in a life filled with happiness and faith. Hear us, Savior, building the future is our legacy.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, moving to the next agenda, may we invite our CMO CHECEP director to deliver her welcoming remarks for Professor Pina Adriani, PhD. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Mbak Tiara. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan, Rahayu, Shalom, Namaste. Yeah, a very good morning to first of all our respected guest speaker for today's event, Professor Suzani Lung, the Deputy Director of CMO CHECEP, all the committees and also all the participants who have attended today's webinar. So I'm very delighted today to have here with us a very distinguished speaker, Professor Suzani Lung from Central University of Hong Kong. I had the privilege to work together with Professor Suzani just a year ago, if I'm not mistaken. Professor Suzani, when she together with Professor Gail was a guest editor for a special issue about innovative forms of play in Asian context. The special issue was published in Contemporary Issues in Early Childhood Education, one of the very prestigious journal. So Professor Suzani, without any doubt, is an expert in the field. She has a lot of expertise, a lot of knowledge about the issues of play, particularly in the Asia context. I hope in today's webinar, Professor Suzani will be sharing with us her knowledge and her expertise, and perhaps there will be some of the insight taken from the special issue as well. So Professor Suzani, I know that you are a very busy academic. We are grateful that you are making time to do the lecture in our center. So I think without any doubt, we all know the importance of playing in the life of young children and also in early childhood education. Playing and learning for young children are two integrated things. They cannot be separated. They are not put in a binary opposition, but unfortunately, not a lot of children have access to play. At the same time, I think if we read from the latest research in the field, we will also recognize that playing takes various forms. Playing is not always situated in a pleasant, nice environment. Sometimes it can be conducted by young children in a harsh, hostile environment. nevertheless, I think it illuminates the agency young children possess and also the extent to which young children are able to negotiate the meaning of playing amidst their current situation. So I myself very much look forward for today's webinar and also for today's lecture. And I hope we, all the participants, can gain a lot of insight from today's webinar. I also would like to extend my appreciation to all the participants who have attended today's webinar. I've noticed that in the participants, I've met a lot of friendly faces. Yeah, there is Dr. Helwiah Makarim, there is Mbak Fitriana Herarti, and if I'm not mistaken, Mbak Ganis, and also several other person that I cannot mention are also here and part of today's webinar. So I'm sure today's webinar we can have a lot of important discussion, and hopefully it will help us to better understanding the world of young children and also the world of playing. So once again, my highest appreciation to Professor Suzani, and I really look forward for your lecture. So billahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you for Professor Tina Adriani and ED PhD for your welcoming remarks. And ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite you all to have group picture for today's event. And please kindly tune on your camera and prepare your brightest smile because we don't know where you are. And for IT team, please help me to capture our moments. And we have 4 pages. Because you don't know where you are, please hold your smile. Okay, on my count, please IT team help me to capture. 1, 2, 3. Okay, next pages. 1, 2, 3. Okay, next the third pages. 1, 2, 3. And the last one. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you for your cooperation. And we are moving to the next agenda. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, moving to the next agenda, please allow me to introduce our speaker for today's event, Ms. Suzani Leong, PhD. Ms. Suzani Leong, PhD, is Assistant Professor, Department Curriculum and Instruction, Faculty of Education from the Chinese University of Hong Kong. And she graduated as Doctor of Philosophy in Education in 2017 from the University of Hong Kong. And in 2022, she was awarded of New Scholar Award, World Organization for Early Childhood Education. And Ms. Suzani Leong, PhD, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for Professor Wiener's invitation and also this Samuel organization. Very honored to be here. And let me share my screen first. Good. Can you all read the PowerPoint here? Oh, very nice. Yeah, very honored to be here today. And I wish I could share a little bit about the children and playing. And I think Professor Wiener and also Tiala have already introduced me lots of background. So I just briefly introduce myself. I have an interdisciplinary background of art, education, and psychology. And also, I have a very solid frontline experience because I was a kindergarten teacher before in Hong Kong for many years. And then I come up with a teacher trainer for quite a number of years and then finished my PhD. And then now I'm teaching at the Chinese University of Hong Kong. And I do believe that it is important for us to integrate our frontline experience to research and teacher training to make the whole ecosystem very healthy for early childhood education. So for me, I was a practitioner in a curriculum developer and also a teacher educator. And now I stepped forward to be a researcher. So actually, I had quite a diverse and different experience, but in the same field, also in early childhood education for so many years. And I, other than the today's topic, playing and children, indeed I do research on some very specific issue like teachers' content knowledge and pedagogical knowledge in visual art education, and also investigate their attitude and aptitude towards the digital device, and also examine the children's computational thinking through digital arts. And this is all my current research project as well. So my research construct focus on play and learning in early childhood, and also teachers and belief and practice, and also art-based pedagogy in kindergarten. And these are all my research construct and interest throughout the years. I think Professor Wiener has already introduced a little bit before about today's webinar is focused on the special issue about the innovative form of play in Asian context from contemporary issue in early childhood. And this special issue has collected 5 articles and 1 colloquium on children's play within the Asian context. In our initial call for proposal, we intended to focus on innovative forms of play in Asia. It turns out that it's less focused on innovative form of play because, you know, sometimes the submission are not out of our expectation. But end up we focus on more questioning about the Western notion of play and childhood that have been imposed on local practice through policy and curriculum imperative in different cultural and social contexts. So we are so lucky to also include Professor Wiener's article in the special issue. So today we will focus on the special issue about the Asian study. At the same time, I also will introduce one of my current study related to children's play in the Hong Kong context. So there are so many ways in defining and explaining children's play. Unfortunately, differences in forms of play can be easily reduced to an East-West dichotomy. For example, the West may privilege risk-taking, creativity, and play as a child right, while the East may see play as less productive than formal learning. Such dichotomy may not help us understand the different aspects of play, which are culturally and socially manifest in various Asian contexts. And Asia is increasingly exposed to global discourse of free play and play-based learning. Underlying this discourse is the assumption that play constitutes an essential part of early childhood curriculum. And it is not clear how local early childhood settings may have taken and problematized these kind of so-called global discourses to produce something different or innovative in the forms of play. For example, government may also actively promote free play and play-based learning as the reform goals and pedagogical tools for early childhood settings, but at the same time conceive policy initiative to ensure predetermined outcomes and universal standards influenced by neoliberalism. So this kind of neoliberal logic may not be opposite to the spirit embedded in play, which welcome openness, spontaneity, and also improvisation. Professor Su from the Education University of Hong Kong, and also her collaborator, Dr. Iphone Lee, challenged the dominant discourse of play embedded in policy and practice in various parts of the world. The authors question this taken for granted assumption, which evaluates constructs to a very presumably good and universal happy childhood as optimal goal and endpoint of children play, and occur of a wide array of problems and issues in contemporary society. In this article, the authors analyze images of children at play in curriculum framework, documents and reports of Hong Kong, Singapore, the United States, and UNICEF, exploring the ways that happiness consistently features as a largely unspoken or unwritten expectation and rationale for policy and policy advocacy concerning play in early childhood. The analysis revealed common but often silent implication of play and happiness, suggesting the biopolitical governing the children and childhood to lead neoliberal image educational developments. This is the first article, and then we have the second article is about the Alfredo Bautista and his team. They are also the whole team that also come from Education University, challenge the worldwide government practice of policy borrowing without attending to cultural and contextual differences of the local. This practice tends to bring contradictions and problems in policy enactment. The authors systematically review curriculum documents in 3 jurisdictions, namely India, mainland China, and Hong Kong, as well as the local studies on teachers' professional practice in these jurisdictions. These 3 narrative portraits produce a result point to specific hidden factors in such jurisdiction, and yet they share similarities in some regards. For example, like most of them come to academic learning in kindergartens. The authors propose instead the notion of globalization to reconcile the global-local tensions. They suggest that local notions of children-led activities as an alternative to replace the problematic concept of play. So this two are more macro view for children and play in Asia, and then we come to a more specific about the pedagogies. For example, like Tam Pansy, Dr. Pansy Tam is also from Educational University as well, and she is an expert in drama education. She observed the problem of lacking clear official guidelines and support for local teachers to achieve the initiative while being trapped by binary thinking about play and learning in the Hong Kong context, arguing that process drama can bridge the boundaries between play, teaching, and learning. And the author examines its benefits with the teaching team over kindergarten after making sustained effort to integrate the drama elements to curriculum. The empirical data analyzed and organized in terms of drama teaching and learning through before and in and after play, the entire process of play, offer illustrative examples of very complex and yet innovative, playful, and spontaneous process of boundary crossing between drama and playing. And the study revealed that a drama integrated curriculum can help encourage children's active, imaginative, and emotional engagement in playing, and at the same time enhance subject and non-subject-based learning. Other than drama, we also have music in Asian play. Nim from Singapore looks beyond the narrowly defined notions of play as curriculum and pedagogies to investigate child-initiated forms and contexts of playing. This ethnographic study informed by a range of literature that discuss the deficits and genetic will of children rights, and as well as children play, musicking, and also peer culture. Musicking is understood as a form like social play among children for mimicking for everyday life. The author argues that this is necessary for adults to understand deeply this creative and improvised form of musical play used by children to navigate the unofficial space in early childhood settings, turning play in a way of knowing the way how we understand the world and how we build the peer culture together for young children. Such understanding enables adults to see children from different perspectives and discover the process of knowing, which acts on different aspects of learning and development. So we come to Professor Wiener's article. Other than two macro view of early child education from Professor Su and Alfredo Bautista, and also we have drama, we have musicking, and also we would also we are very delighted to have her paper, because her paper is out of the institutional context, which is the data is on the street. So this is a very special study for us, and we're so glad at that time. And then we are very happy that we come up with we can include and invite her paper into the journal. So Professor Wiener and her team, like I said before, they move away from the formal institutional context. They context the prevailing binary between playing and working in the leisure street, children's negotiation of play. And this binary legitimates playing as mandatory for children and working as harmful to children. The authors then argue that the binary has marginalized street children whose childhood is often seen as something that goes wrong. And they criticize the colonial and Western construction of childhood embedded in the Convention of Children's Rights, especially regarding child protection, which in turn is sustained by international donor agency. The authors took an ethnographic approach to collect data from 14 street children and their guardians, mainly through observation and ongoing observation. We read the paper and we saw how the process, how hard it was. And the findings suggest that the children are able not only to navigate the meaning of play, but also to negotiate the social position of adults on the street. The ethnographic data shed light on the complex interplay of adult-child power, dynamics, resistance to learning, schooling, and fluid transformation of street into a playground. So we have 5 articles here come up with a special issue, and also we have one colloquium from Professor Xue Ye. Xue Ye, he is an American scholar in United States. And then he and his team talking about relocating the frame of reference of play, reflecting from the fieldwork in Chinese rural preschools. And they bring this special issue quite an exposure indeed. The authors critically reflect on their own Western assumptions that have been made implicit in academic scholarship and graduate studies. And these assumptions often privilege play in urban area in the kindergarten, over play in rural area in China. The author suggested that Asia as method is another way, or like an alternative frame of reference for research and practice in culturally different contexts. So this is the entire overview of our special issue, and I also state the citation here. And later on, if the organization would like to share my PowerPoint, I'm very pleased to let you know this all information and welcome you all to download their papers and enjoy this special issue. So I also am very glad to share one of my projects here is about pretend play in socially engaged art, resisting neoliberalism through children's voice. And this is another paper that we present in OMAD World Conference, and very honored to receive the New Scholar Award there from this project. So in this decade, as we may know, the economy are imperative of competition, choice, and also calculation embedded in the top-down changes have advisory and reshape what education is about, how education institutions are governed and managed, as well as how students, teachers, parents are seen and see themselves, and how they relate to each other. So with students or children already positioned at the bottom of social hierarchy, childhood in the neoliberalism is more than ever the most intensely governed sector of human exercise from Peter Morse and Piaget. And the advice impact of neoliberalism on children and those who support and work with them has attract seriously concern in different parts of the world. So I think as a critical theory scholar, we all know that the negative side of neoliberalism, and Hong Kong is no exception. And there is a low-lag report in recent years in Hong Kong to highlight the frantic construction of successful childhood through such means of like intensive parenting. We have like, for example, in Hong Kong context, we call tiger mom, tiger dad. Yeah, and also we have in so many interest classes after school for them to equip the so-called their cultural capital and social capital. And also the private tutoring is very severe, even started from kindergartens, so to create a very sad childhood for Hong Kong children. So apparently, parents at school are also affected by the same neoliberal logic in Hong Kong. For example, in Hong Kong, we have the Boys and Girls Club Association of Hong Kong announced the result about the happiness of Hong Kong children 2019. And among 1,083 children aged 6 to 17 participants, there are around just 60% children feel happy and 10% confirm they're unhappy. And the ratio of children who feel happy and the degree of happiness dropped dramatically from 2019 until now, compared to the year in 2018. And the survey also reveals children's lack playtime and outdoor play in Hong Kong. So this is the scenario in Hong Kong. And maybe later, if we have Q&A, we can also discuss the issue in other Asian regions as well. And we have Cho and Chen, who are also Hong Kong scholars, offer additional insight beyond the result-driven school life, very academic, very performance-based school life from children's perspective. And they interview children, and children find out that, and then the children report their unhappiness and the problem in school life. And the authors found that children's well-being are also impacted by the parent-child conflict on doing schoolwork, remote teachers and students relationship, and having friendship issues in the school, and absence of real leisure time, and inadequate sleep, prolonging stress, and reduced happiness. And these are all reports from our Hong Kong children. And unlike Western society, play is not seen as much productive value for children in the Chinese context of Hong Kong. Indeed, UNICEF Hong Kong investigate over 1,000 parents about their views on free play, only to find out the majority have limited knowledge and even misunderstanding. So maybe we also need more communication with parents about what play means to our children. And the Education Bureau in Hong Kong attempt to strengthen quality assurance and regulatory mechanism to normalize learning through play, to steer curriculum practice towards the production of a happy childhood. But for all this mainstream report and the scenario in Hong Kong, we also want to have another way, as an alternative way, to understand how children play happen in Hong Kong. So this study aims to illustrate the value of incorporating pretend play as part of socially engaged art for listening to children's voice and understand their reality. And since time is limited here, this presentation will just share one pretend play case here, generated from an art-based studio project called Project Superheroes, which create a community participatory platform to encourage children free play of their emotions and experience, and adults' active engagement with children's voice. For us to understand pretend play first, pretend play is a symbolic behavior in which one thing is playfully treated as if it were something else. And children pretend in order to engage in action, realize tendency, and play at becoming confident in practice that they are not able to perform in real world, according to Vygotsky. And pretend play entails make-believe, fantasy, imagination, and affects from Ross, and play give children the power to separate or originally imitate fusion between meaning and reality, meaning and object, and meaning and action. That's why children express their experience of sadness, disappointment, and loss in play from club. And at the same time, Harris also mentioned that play brings great deal of their knowledge about the world. Yeah, it's a different, very multiple and different, very complex definitions of pretend play. It's not just only this, but just we try to focus on the definition intensively. So we outline this literature review, but I think there are lots of discussion about pretend play indeed. So pretend play could be a reflection of children's encounters of social and cultural reality. Children learn to talk, remember, problem solve, and tell right from wrong by living with others in environments situated with cultural values. Cultural expectations regarding valued activities and ways of participation shape and what play looks like, the meaning made through play. Children produce different modes here, like visual, like body language, drawing, through play narrative, which is socially and culturally shaped resources for meaning making. Other than that, we use socially engaged art as a form in this research, as an approach in this research project. Socially engaged art concerns the collaboration and interaction of people and communities that enable critical reflections and the construction of how we live, thus making space for creative or alternative practices. This paradigm shift in contemporary art gradually transformed the meaning of artistic space, which was traditionally about producing artifacts for passive consumption by visitors or art collectors, to one which require action, can facilitate people in interact with reality, to attend problems, and rebuild social relations. As such, socially engaged art can be a form of art-based participatory research and an open platform for advocating children's rights. So art-based research, especially projects or participatory in nature, encourage the use of innovative and artistic inspired methods to generate various kinds of data. For example, performance, photography, drawing, and poetry writing for analyze and reporting. Unlike conventional study, art-based research project tends not to bound by the urge of answering predetermined research questions. They focus more on unbelieving complexities, stimulating discussions, and facing uncertainties. So this project took place in an open playground called Play Depot. On the right-hand side, we can see a photo of the outdoor space of Play Depot. And it is located in Cato Depot Atas Village within the To Kwa Wan district of Hong Kong. The Cato Depot originally constructed is a slaughterhouse and quarantine base in 1908 in old Hong Kong, and was converted in an artist village for local artists in 2001. And Play Depot was funded by the Hong Kong Arts Development Council to provide artists and young children with the space to play with special recycled materials like handcraft skills and games in community. And pretend play occurs simultaneously in spontaneously in naturalistic setting like this, allow researchers to gain insight into play activities of children who are growing up in different contexts. So Play Depot, therefore, enable the research team to emerge an environment free from adult surveillance and also prompt deeper in children's social and cultural realities. The researchers stationed as an artist and facilitator at Play Depot every Saturday and Sunday between April and June in 2019 to recruit and engage children in pretend play. The studio project adopted an open strategy. Children could sign up for a slot on a timesheet at entrance, and some would just walk in within any notice. Children usually came together with their parents and neighborhood friends. More than 30 children performed pretend play, but only 12 children aged from 7 to 9 participated in this study with parental consent. So the researcher explained to both children and adult participants about the research purpose, including the use of children's activities, photo, drawings, as well as video and audio recording collected through the children play. Pretend play was conducted on one-on-one basis. The child was invited to pretend create the images themselves as a role of a superhero. The researcher used a set of prompts to facilitate the child to develop ideas for superhero gadgets. Some household objects were provided on site for children considered as gadgets. The entire pretend play process started from the researcher child initiate conversation on superheroes till the end was video recorded. The researchers took few notes while observing the child engage in pretend play. The parents who sat in the same room who watched the child's pretend play. After the observation, the researchers used open-end questions to invite parents to share their views on the child experience as reflect through pretend play. So now we introduce one of the case here. She was Cindy, age 7, came to play depot with her mom one afternoon. She was the only child in the family. At the age of 4, Cindy moved to Hong Kong with her parents from mainland China, and her father was a construction worker, and her mom was a housewife. They live in a subdivided unit, a very small one in Hong Kong, because in Hong Kong we do have many subdivided units in some old estate and old urban area in Hong Kong. Just very nearby play depot. On that day, Cindy's mother was looking for a public playground to play with her daughter, accidentally discovered this place for play. And on the right hand side, you can see is a play of Cindy's pretend play. She chose to call herself Little Greek Woman because she disliked the Greek lines printed by workbook, copybook for English writing, for alphabet writing, and mathematics calculation. And she picked up a household brush and continued to improvise and said, I can see all the answers from the hole in this brush. I want to get 100 marks in dictation. She went on to imagine the cleaning brush as a free stick and said, if I point to you with this stick, you will be frozen in this moment. Then you can take a rest. The most amazing part of it is if I point to you again, so you can move your body and you will find all your assignments are finished. So towards the end of the acting as Little Greek Woman, Cindy proclaimed her motto: no school, no homework, no examination, no books, no library, playground for play only. She wrote this motto and I placed in this slide. And after watching the pretend play, Cindy's mother shared an incident with us. She said, Cindy did her homework by herself this time. However, the teacher accused her by asking her parents to help her complete the homework. As the work was written so neatly, she told the teachers that the first row was drafted by her mom and also the tutor, while the rest was done by herself. The teachers then wrote, rewrite and do it yourself as feedback. And our girl came back and told us she did not have to do the homework neatly because her teacher won't trust her anymore. When we heard that teachers did not believe our daughter, we immediately reported to the school. What the teacher did would make her instantly lose the confidence in herself. It is crucial for teachers to have trust in her students. Luckily, the school believed our daughter after we discussed the problem. Then I told my daughter, you don't have to be upset. You just need to be more confident. I don't want my children lose their confidence. So you will see how frustrated her mother was. And Cindy's mother share a few tears and continue. Others may stay silent in this kind of situation. However, from the parents' perspective, we definitely care more about our child than her school. And parents usually do not know what happened at school or why their children are upset when they got home. This is why parents always put their children first under any circumstances. I hope negative feedback would not affect my children. So you see the struggle between the parents and the school, and meanwhile and her mother, Cindy, they also want to be a good parents, good girl in the in the dominant discourse to be a successful childhood that we expect in the society. But indeed, it's a very lot of struggling between the school and the parents indeed. So Little Greek Woman performed by Cindy reflect the struggling reality of children, and this struggle, this reality and echo the findings of previous studies on children's adjustment issue caused by
Tas aku na di belakang. Oh, natas di belakang.
And then these realities echo the findings of previous studies on children's adjustment issue caused by different organization and expectation between early childhood institution and schools. In fact, in the capitalist trajectory of Hong Kong, the cultural logics of success is deemed a perfect match with what Ball in 2021 said. With Carol control of the body and emotions justified by the neoliberal interests of an economic world order. So schools have become a battleground for sorting out the weak students, parents, and teachers from those who can best play the role of a competitive neoliberal subject. Cindy, as revealed as in this case, has to learn that being a good student is to subjugate her body and emotion to meet adults' expectation on academic study. Cindy's teachers and mother, whether they concur the neoliberal images of a good teacher to ensure good grades, a good parents to provide tutoring class, and hold the responsibility to discipline Cindy to perform well in the education race as a competition, exactly. And neoliberalism, as discussed by Robert Holmes and Morse, has changed their subjectivities and relationships in education. So this paper introduced an alternative approach to listening to children's voice and understanding their realities by situating pretend play within the frame of socially engaged art. Theorized by such scholars such as Claire Bishop in 2012, Bond and Levin in 2018, and also Jay Kong in 2016. While there is effort taken to deconstruct neoliberal subjectivity and practice in formal education settings. So this serial project is a first attempt to report here to explore a different space to make children's voice visible. It took place in a community instead of in kindergarten, where people, children, and adults alike could participate autonomously, experience informal encounters, and get provoked by dialogues and interactions based on the subjectivities that were reconstructed. So it's almost the end of my presentation, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for the invitation from Professor Rina again, and thank you very much for your time. And do send me emails and give me feedbacks for further collaboration and develop such kind of critical theory studies. And I look forward to see you in person in Indonesia and other places in conference again. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for Ms. Suzani about your you have great presentation. And ladies and gentlemen, we now enter for question and answer session. Maybe there are questions that you want to ask to our speaker. You can raise your hands and then open your microphone. Or other, maybe you can chat in the chat box. Okay, before the participant in the Zoom meeting, there is a question for Dia Rahmi, Ms. Zuzani, and is it about how to make the children feel free and happy to see and to do something around their life cycle and their environmental society, especially now where the traditional of games for the children changing into modern games that mostly individual life than in group on playing the game.
Okay, maybe I answer part of it first. If I am not enough, then just let me know. And for me, I will say to give more freedom to children in terms of different form of play. And the first way is to release our power structure between teacher and children. That means we are parallel relationship, we are partners, we are collaborators, and we are friends. This is very important for us to remind us we didn't have a traditional hierarchy between teachers and children, but instead we should have a more fair and parallel relationship between children and teachers as such kind of relationship. This is the first point. And the second point is, I think most importantly is to promote bottom up way to engage in the play. That means we should promote child initiated play first, and then throughout the process we can do scaffolding, we can do facilitation for them to ensure they will have that freedom to make decision, to do judgment, but at the same time with our guidance.
Thank you very much for your explanation, Ms. Zuzani. And there is one of our participants raise her hands. Gita, maybe we can add spotlight to her for IT teams. Gita, yes. Thank you, Gita. Can you open your microphone? Yeah, please. We haven't got your voice, Gita. We cannot hear. What cannot? We haven't got.
As well. Type in the chat box.
Hello?
Okay. My voice clear?
Yes, it's clear, it's clear.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Hello, Mr. Sunny.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Thank you for asking.
Okay, I'm very interested in this study of play, even though I'm not from early childhood education, but from physical education. Yes.
Thanks for
Yes, but I think the two are very closely related because they relate to children and play, physical activity. On this opportunity, I will highlight the problem of playing in the context of children gross motor skill. Changing time have brought many change in the context of children's play. The tendency for children to play using gadgets in Indonesia has become a habit for children rather than doing free play in outdoors, such as play in the playground or field, running anywhere, throw and catch the ball, etc. Every child has the right to move freely, to express his movement according to his wishes and needs. Of course, this will stimulate his growth and development and joy by playing. According to this situation, what is your opinion about early childhood education role in guiding children in negotiating their choice to meet their movement need through play in Asian context?
Yeah, this is a very insightful, very good question and very insightful discussion about children and playing. It's not in Indonesia, and especially even in Hong Kong, it's very severe that play has been hijacked kindergarten classroom for children's learning instead of playing. This is the way how we do from policy level and to classroom level. And for policy, I would suggest our government to really focus on the curriculum revamp to relax the timetable and the way the expectation to promote to primary school. And this is the first one is the tension from the kindergarten, why they push children to go to better primary school. So they need play, they use play as a tool to move their learning, to improve their learning. That is the first one. And the second one is to demarketization the kindergartens, because when kindergartens are private goods, we never can have bargaining power to parents and the market to say no to neoliberal markets. So we cannot really negotiate, play with children truly. And this is the I think this is also very important for government officials to know about this. And then come to the classroom and come to our kindergarten teachers' role, and we can also reconstruct our environment as well, because environment is the first teacher for kindergarteners. So that if we can loosen the structure of the environment, so children can enjoy the environment through free play or their true play in the process. So this is also the strategy for kindergarten teachers to really at least get closer to the real play for young children.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Fanny.
Okay, Mbak Gita, is it enough? Or...
Yes, I think
Okay,
so.
thank you. Maybe any question for participant in this meeting room? Okay, Pak Putih, our DDP is asking for you, Mr. Zaini.
Oh, hello. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. I have a question because you know in Indonesia the population is 270 million people. So the preschool units mostly don't have the playground. So the children cannot play freely. Even the children 6 to 17, they also in the crowded city like Jakarta, Bandung, or other city in Indonesia, they play on the ways. So it's dangerous for them. So how can we do to educate or to provide the good what we say playing ground for the development of the children? This is my concern one. And the second one is now every family, even the parent cannot provident for the children to play the game on their handphones. I ever attend in the international conference one. I asked also this question, but the speaker said that it should be make the regulation, family regulation, that will agree by all members in the families that when you can use the handphone and when you can watch the TV and when you read the book in your, so the agreement from the all member of the family is can be accepted for all. This is but how can you explain us? I think for the playground, it should be the regulation from the Ministry of Education to provide all can open the playground. Should be also what we say ECCE unit would have a playground also. And then because in 2019 or 20, many preschool units in Indonesia, they opens at their house, at their, I don't know, many, but no have playgrounds. That's why because they want to increase the acceleration or access to the what we say enrollment of the preschool student. This is one thing that we are, because after the pandemic, the enrollment of the preschool student is reduced, not increased, decreased. So that's why maybe one of the policy to observe the student at free school level. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for so care about the early childhood education. I think the participants will feel so warm for a very important person that so care about the field. Yeah, and yeah, you also provide many information for me to understand more about Indonesia. And for Hong Kong, we have some similar scenario because we are a very small region, very small, and our space is very limited. And for some kindergarten, they are very small with very small room. They didn't have playground as well. But what they do is to provide two things. One is the handmade play materials for some individual and small group and constructive play, just within a small space. And this is the first one. And the second one, they need to get well connection with the non-profit making organization. Because most of our kindergarten in Hong Kong, they are also their service provider were from the church-based kindergarten. So they will make very good connection with the collaboration with the community. For example, the church, and also like the elderly center, the space from elderly center, and they exchange the resources with they have a better resource allocation plan to sort of accommodate this problems. And of course, this problem is a structural problem in a region that somehow the school cannot do much to improve the situation. But the most they could do is to engage community collaboration, and even now, because Hong Kong the economical change, we have so many empty factory buildings flats. So somehow some kindergartens even rent those places and then create a playhouse here, and then they go to field trip and move them children from the campus to different places to enjoy the playhouse. So our situation is celebration is very, very important, and sort of the resource allocation and try to break through the cut line between and kindergarten setting, primary setting, and secondary school setting, and also elderly. All the social service can integrate together, and the resource allocation will be much better. And for another question that is about, I think it's a global problem for all children over the world, is today to engage in iPad. They are using their mobile phone. They keep watching television, and the point is, I think physically and psychologically, and even the American pediatrics of children also allows guidelines for children not to have screen time below age 2, and above age 2 to 5, they just recommend like no more than 2 hours per day screen time. So screen time is also a problem, and for the regulation that another speaker has already raised in webinar. But for me, I think the point is not yes or no, is how. The problem is the how question, how we use the source, because we have some good source in YouTube for children learning. And we have some good digital device for children learning. For example, we can use camera to ask children to take photo and then share the children's voice. And then they also can use the video to create artwork by themselves instead of color pencil. So it's the way how we use the opportunities, and also how we limit those very game-based entertainment, but we encourage more open and constructive digital device for children to use it in the curriculum and also in the families. So for me, I think parent education is important for them to have the attitude here. So instead of we propose policy revamp or we reform the curriculum guide, at the same time we also need to change the attitude and mindset of parents. So because they're one of very important stakeholders here in the society, so they need the responsibility to really have the same mindset or similar mindset with scholars and also practitioners in the field. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your question, Pak Putih, and your amazing about explanation that Indonesia has more people and many things have to do about playing and
Perfect.
fulfill the children's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe another question for from participants in this event. Okay, Mbak Nindya Rengganis.
Hello,
Okay,
Lydia. Hello.
okay, maybe.
Hello,
Okay,
Lydia. Hello.
Hello, okay. Is
Hello.
my voice is clear?
it's clear, it's clear.
Okay. Hello, Zani Leung. I'm Nindya Rengganis from Resource Center, Early Childhood Resource Center in Yogyakarta. It's part of Java, Center Java. I really like how this research choose pretend play regarding to the you say that pretend play can support us to listening more of children voices and also to understand their their connection with reality
Reality. Yeah.
like a play you mentioned about play depot and
Yeah. Pay report in Hong Kong. Yeah.
is it like a psychodrama or sociodrama that everybody can show, can put on or can
I
I think-
understand your question, and I think we also provide a workshop for parents to conduct this pretend play, and especially we also would like to extend this workshop to teachers because we do have some guided questions for children, and how we started is we also collect some objects. Just daily objects in the playground. At the same time, they can also collect some objects from their home, come back to the playground. So this is the first step. And the second step, we also give them some cartoons to watch and sort of the superhero cartoons. And we also explain that you see that cartoon characters, they do have some gadgets to fight and to fight for themselves. So would you like to also be a part of it? And then children say, always say, yes, we would like to play. And then they start to draw. They have to draw something to create a character, create their own character. And then we ask them, what's the name of your superhero? And how are there any functions and power, natural power for this superhero? And then they will start to improvise, just like drama, improvise. They imagine and improvise themselves to be that superhero. And then they start to pick up those daily objects as they get, and they try to imagine like this. So imagine through the features of that daily object, but at the same time, integrate their imagination about the superhero. And then we start to ask like, also how if you are that superhero, what you will do for the world or for yourself. And then other than Cindy, and another case is like he is a superhero, especially for especially for children to find friends. To make friends. So he got so many gadgets like the magnet. And then I asked him what is the use of that magnet for the gadget, and then he said to attract friends. And then I asked him why you and then attract what kind of friends, and he said the magnet just can attract good friends. If they are bad, they will lose the function. They can that magnet cannot attract these friends to us. It's like explain and talk, and then they improvise, and then we keep scaffolding, keep together questions to create that kind of scene. So it's very bottom up, and different child have different story about their superheroes and the background stories, and it's a quite interesting research project indeed.
Thank you. And following that question, thank you for the explanation, and we're very interested. And so after when I read on the research process, so the parents sat in the same room with the children, right?
Yeah.
What do you think about how they express if there is a problem between the children and also their parents?
Oh, this is a very good question, because even when we write up we are preparing an article and a manuscript for journal submission. And also the reviewer also asks the same question like this, and what is the role of parents and in the process observing the child? And we actually they're not in the power structure. It's not them monitoring the children. Instead, we're very friendly and just sit and stay with the children to play together. And we also brief the parents to just watch it, and then let's see how they play, and then we just keep in a very parallel situation together. It's not monitoring. It's the same time to let the parents to
their voices. What do you think about that? So it's like a transferring the idea, but it is important to listen to children's voices.
It is definitely foreseeable, because the first time we do is in the play report, which is informal setting. But if we would like to make it more socially impactful, actually we need to apply the skills into families and schools. So this is a very good idea for us to try to and inspire parents to apply this technique in the families, and as a pedagogy of listening, and to gain more children's voice.
Okay, thank you, Susani. I have like a mini research on the children of migrant workers in Hong Kong from Indonesia. Can I contact you by email after this?
Sure.
Okay.
Email me, anytime. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mbak Tiara.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mbak Nindya, for the question. Any question maybe from the other participants? Maybe and there is a question from our media social for Ms. Zani, that this is from Agus. And sometimes the best practice in local context is rarely exposed. Can you give us some advice to uncover more local context in children's play?
I think I think the most important thing is we need to get rid of the global assumptions, so that we can really go into local context. And this is the first one that we need to keep in our mind. And sometimes I also will have such kind of because you live in the setting. So you really will be influenced by neoliberalism or some mainstream ideas. And most of the time, we also will influenced by some assumptions about childhood and the way we should do for children. And then come back to this, I think it's also go back to the first question that we wish to do more is to do children initiative, because children is very sensitive to the environment, and also the way they do is very straightforward, and they haven't been socialized yet. That's why they are the leaders instead of us. So if we can get it, if we aim to get rid of the global notion of childhood and go deeper to local settings, we should insist to do more child initiative play.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Suzani.
Thank you.
Any question maybe from the participants? You may raise your hand. Okay, I will wait. Maybe some of participants still having, yes. Okay, Ms. Suzani, can I ask you about permission that we want to share your presentation to the participant? Is it okay?
Okay. And maybe I can, let me try if it's just one photo. Let me see. Okay, maybe I can take out one photo from the Cindy, and to avoid the consent, and then we can send it out to our all the participants today, except that photo. Some data from the research, yeah.
Okay, any question? Is it clear for us, or maybe something that want to share about your experience to us, Ms. Suzani? Okay. If there is no more question, we will move into the next agenda. I think, there is one participant about Mbak Artalia. Okay, thank you very much.
Hi, thank you so much for your sharing. Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, it's very clear.
All right. So I just want to know, like, if I want to learn more about this play before, do you have any resource that you can share with us? Because I tried to go to the website and it's restricted. Will it be possible to get more information on that? Because I think that's a very interesting concept and idea that we can all adapt and learn from.
Actually, I can share the PowerPoint to you all, and also I have also published 2 articles based on this project, so I can share 2 articles to you all as well. That there are more detailed process there, so you can inspire from the process and then you apply the techniques to your settings.
All right, that would be great. Thank you so much, and thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mbak Artalia. Okay, any more question? Okay, I think it's enough. Okay. Okay. Because we have no more question for Mrs. Zeni, and we have learned many information from your presentation and from your explanation about children's and playing. And thank you very much for Mrs. Zani. It's very great information for us, and for the material and the question and answer session, we can learn that playing has important role for children. One of the role is for education, and it can be like curriculum to educate children, but it must be aligned with children's voice, right, and perspective. And then may we invite Mr. Edputi to give certificate for our speakers. Mr. Edputi, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much for Tiara. And now we would like to grant the certificate for our speaker from Chinese University of Hong Kong. Where's the certificate, please?
I
Thank you,
see.
Mr. Whitby. Thank you so much.
This is the certificate for you from the Simeo Chechep, and we would like to say thank you very much for your times and your experience sharing with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Whitby. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pak Putih, for giving certificate to our speaker. And again, we would like to invite Mr. Edputi to give his closing statement or remark for today's event. Mr. Edputi, the time is yours.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I would like to inform Prof. Suzani Long, because we, as the one of the 26 Simeo Center in the 11 country, 26 Simeo Center, Simeo Chechep as one of the Simeo Regional Center under the Simeo. And I recently the Hong Kong University also as the affiliate member to the Simeo, so that we can collaborate it more and more the programs. And thank you for Prof. Susani Long for sharing the interesting topic for today's webinar. And this is the first webinar that we conducted by the Simeo Chechep in 2023. Prof. Susana, you have introduced us the perspective of children view, children rise, children play, unlike the Western perspective in early childhood education. Playing is the one of the children rise as declared by the conventions on the right of the children. Playing should be the main activity in the young children education. We should listen to the children's voice more to get a better understanding of their reality, and then to understand and will help us to provide better education to our young generation. After all, let us play with our children. So the parent, we should play with our children also to connect our social relation between children and the parents. Thanks for your being wonderful resource person in this webinar, Prof. Suzani. And for all participants, thanks for being an enthusiastic part of this webinar. We would like to see you again in the next programs that will be conducted by the Simeo Chechep. With your permission and God blessing, I declare this webinar is officially closed. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you, Pak Putih, for your closing remarks. And we may invite Ms. Suzani Leung for the closing statement from our event today. Ms. Suzani, floor is yours.
Thank you so much for you all, and so welcome and warm greetings from all the participants, especially Mr. Pesci and also Professor Vina and all the colleagues from the back office to support this webinar. And I'm so glad to exchange the ideas from our point of view. We will share the same perspective actually, but we have different settings. But at the same time, we can actually have the same mission in early child education. So we are so glad to be here today and also share my ideas and some ideas from different scholars. And then also very happy to really listen to the question, because when the participant ask those questions, we know how they concern about the field and the way and the logic they understand the matters. That is very important for me and also for all of us. And also I understand that as a very big country like Indonesia with so many people, and it is a long way to develop early child education. You guys have big mission that also make me feel so touched. And also so happy to know the Education University also is the collaborators to this organization, and we hope the Chinese University of Hong Kong could be one of them later, and then we can collaborate different research projects and also teacher training, and to exchange some variable comments and also practice and philosophy together and make the world better. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Suzani.
Thank you so much for Professor Suzani for your closing statement. And ladies and gentlemen, that's all of our events for today. And there are some information that we would like to share about how to get certificate and download material. Okay, how to get a certificate. That participants will be asked to fill out the evaluation form in the links seameocecep.org/webinar on menu, survey, and evaluation, or in the link.seameocecep.org/eval-cp02610. The deadline for filling out the evaluation form will due at Monday, 20 February 2023 at 7 p.m. On Jakarta time. And the certificate will be accessible on link.seameocecep.org/cp0216 starting Monday on 27 February 2023. And they're all participants. Thank you very much for your times and joining our events today. And for download material, maybe. Okay, can be download the material in the link.seameocecep.org/material TC by resource person's consent. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much for all participants and our speakers, our our director, our deputy directors, head of division, and all committees that because all of you that we can join these webinars. And stay tuned on our social media for any updates of our programs and events. Thank you for participation and see you in the next webinar. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Professor Suzani. Thank you, everyone. Mbak Tiara, Pak Putri.
Thank you.
Mbak Ganis, thank you. Ada Gita juga ini. Thank you, Gita.
Thank you. Seameocecep.
Thank you.
Satu persatu. Oke, izin live ya.
Thank you very much.
Oke. Tedes.